Cool. Today I'm joined by Jon McNee from FitLogic Training Systems. And basically what Joe does with his students and clients, he helps people save time from working in their business so they can work on their business. So Joe, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, mate. Good half day for me from the day job and bank holiday weekend, so cannot complain with that at all.
Exactly. Even what's the weather like up your way though for bank holidays? It's going to start chucking it down here. So,
well, looking out the window, it looks absolutely glorious, but when you step outside, it does not feel absolutely glorious.
that's right. Being north of the wall, if you said it was like really, really sunny and lovely, I'd be jealous.
It's not quite, mate. It looks sunny, but it's a bit nippy outside.
I was going to say, we're the ones that are supposed to have the nice weather down here. You're not. So Joe, first off, how have you got to where you are and doing like the automations and that side of things from like your sort of, what's your background? How have you got to where you are at the moment?
Yeah, so the automations was never kind of planned. It was almost, it just happened. So kind of started off just as a teacher, full-time teacher, geography, surprisingly, not even PE or anything. So how I found myself here, that's a good question. And then what happened is I was kind of just messing about in the gym, kind of starting to really enjoy it, making great progress. As always, a few people kind of ask you how you do it, what you're doing, can you help them out? So from there, kind of transitioned into coaching on the side, so early mornings, going into school, some evenings kind of coaching. But then over time, 3 kids appeared into my life. So time was absolutely precious. I was getting into work, kind of having my dinner, rushing out to do 3-4 hours of coaching at night, and I was probably going to get chucked out of the house because I was never home. So I had to try and find time or make time. And what happened is I found I was sending the same email to the same clients for the same purpose repeatedly. So then kind of through a bit of research, found automations and that repeated tasks could be automated. So things like the onboarding journey, check-in reminders, for me, any service delivery. So week 1, I want you to do this. We're going to talk about mindful eating. Week 2, and then what I done is it freed up loads of time. In terms of I wasn't doing menial tasks, I was doing meaningful coaching. So I wasn't busy for busy sake. I was busy impacting others, and I found that allowed me to really enjoy coaching because the business side was getting taken care of itself, which you don't always think about. And then my clients were getting much better results because I wasn't stressed about having a conversation with them, knowing I'd then have to send 2 and 3 emails off the back of it. The conversation was happening, the emails were going automatically. And then from there, talking to a few other PTs because networking with personal trainers is probably huge. Chatting through what I was doing, they seemed interested, started helping them out, and then found myself kind of here, automating and building for some huge clients and huge numbers. Like I thought I was quite good getting numbers in, but the numbers I'm seeing these people do, like whoa, like group challenges with 120 people. Like,
that's good.
Crazy. So yeah, really kind of enjoying it. It's a bit like coaching. Everybody comes with a different outlook on their project of what they want. So it's never kind of one size fits all because somebody starting out will need very basic automations and somebody who's trying to coach 120 clients needs something completely different, more to kind of cope with the volume. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like, we're just sort of talking off air as it were, and like I've got automations in my business, and it's one of those funny things, isn't it, that I don't even know how long these sort of things have been around for, but like now you use them, you think, how the hell did I not have these in my business before? Even something as silly as sending out a weekly newsletter, you can type weeks or months in advance, and it's going out a certain day, a certain time every week because you've just like put them into your little newsletter funnel, and
Yeah.
it's just silly little things like that. And answering emails, and some people listening to this might think that it's less personal, like running automations, but like you just said, I think it's the opposite, because it gives you so much more time to spend with that client or speak to that client on a different platform. But everything else, like their check-in sheets, onboarding processes and whatnot, is done, dusted. You don't even have to think about it.
For me, it makes it more personal, because you're not worried about sending email. You're sending email saying, I need this information from you so that I can spend an hour digging down and solving your problem, rather than saying I've got 15 minutes because I've got XYZ admin tasks to do. So for me, it increased my ability to kind of coach and listen to clients, and not just surface listen, quickly solve the problem, and then get back to doing my kind of accounts or tracking leads or trying to follow up with leads. It just became, right, you've got me now, let's solve the problem and let's dig a bit deeper. So it increases the personal touch for me, because you give yourself more time to listen, and from there you get better results.
Yeah, no, definitely. So what can you teach anyone that's watching this about automations? And if there's anyone listening to this that thinks, what the hell is an automation? What do they need to know?
That you won't break it. Do you know what I mean? If you're talking about like some of the software you're using, it's been probably used by millions of people. So you sitting on your laptop will not break it. And if you do, just delete it and start again. Like, I think fear holds people back more than, oh, I don't know what to do, so I just won't do it. Well, try it. And if it doesn't work, delete it. Like, you know what I mean? Try again. You now know that doesn't work, so you try something else. So actually just trial and error. What I did and what I recommend most people do is, if you have an email list, set one up with you and maybe 2 or 3 other people who you trust, and then you can try all your automations out, and you go, oh, did you get that email about the check-in? And they go, no. And you go, right, oh, it didn't work, so why did it not work? Oh, did you get that email? Or did you get a notification saying you needed to? Yeah, I did. Ah, it works. And then you've got this retrial list. It doesn't matter how bad it goes, because it's, you know, you and maybe your partner or another PT in the gym helping each other out, and then you go, right, cool, it works. So you just take what works and put it into your main list or your main client list. So trial and error is huge. On top of that, and this is where busy personal trainers will think, I can't do that, is take time to write down every task you do, and then you'll find the ones that repeat and they can be automated. But what happens is, you're so busy, you go into autopilot and you just do these tasks without thinking. They become second nature, but it's still time that's taking you. And once you force yourself to sit down, you can start seeing patterns, and you can automate these pattern repeated tasks to free up more time. But that is really, really tricky to force yourself to do, to sit down and spend that hour or two just saying, what do I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that is the same thing over and over again. And then the third thing is plan out your client journey. So whether you do a package or a block of 10 sessions, monthly, 12-week packages, whatever you offer, plan it out from start to finish, from the client signing up with you, what happens until they leave, what do you need them to do for them to get the best results. And then you'll notice that although it is personalised, it's personal training, there is certain things that 90% of clients need to do. You know, they need to move more. They need to be wary of their eating. Now, how you get that across to them is up to you and your kind of personal brand and the way you do things. But the basics are the basics. The personal comes in when you tweak things when you're with them, or if it's an online, their online thing. But the same journey from start to finish, what do you need them to do to get results? And the chances are that can probably be automated as well. Like your onboarding emails are the key one. Like, what do they need to do to get set up? Every client needs to do the same. Do they need to register with your app? Do they need to download Google Sheets? Do they need to WhatsApp you their steps daily? What do they need to do? And you can automate that email so that as soon as they sign up, they know what they need to do, you know what you need to do, and then you kind of meet at the point to push on and get the results.
Yeah, no, definitely. I suppose, like you said, if everyone sort of signs up, and like we'll probably talk about that in a minute, how they can potentially sign up and how that links into an actual automation, but everyone signs up, we'd like to think everyone's going to be bloody signing up, then they're going to get a welcome pack of some sort, which could be as basic as, here's a link to the Facebook group, thanks for coming on board. Because again, like you said a minute ago, I think the fear of, oh, my welcome pack or my welcome email is going to be crap, so therefore they don't bother doing one, and then they just stick to doing it the old school way of emailing or texting everyone individually. But like you said, you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. Why not put that as one sign up link that generates an email automation, and then that one email that you send however much times a month is just going out on autopilot without you thinking about it. They're getting a nice welcome email. Oh, hi, it's Joe here. Hi, it's Carl. Blah, blah, blah. But then again, from that one email, you can be pointing them in all the other directions, like what are weekly check-ins. You can tell them if you're going to do weekly, monthly check-ins, whatever. If you've got a Facebook group, if you want them, like Joe said, if you want them to do step counting, calorie counting, it's stuff that we say every single day, day in, day out.
Yeah.
And like you said, that task which they do daily and also a client's journey is so crucial to highlight these things that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's almost because you do them so much, they become second nature. So you don't think about them, and that's where you need to stop working in your business, take a step back and look down on your business and say, well, I'm doing that repeatedly, and that's what with automations give you time to definitely do that. But yeah, and automations aren't the final product. Do you know what I mean? Like my automations now compared to when I started are wildly different. The emails have evolved as my services have evolved. So once it's an automation, it doesn't mean it's final. You can adapt it as you grow, as you adapt as a trainer, as you start to niche down. Your automations can evolve with you and your business. It's not just, oh, that's it done, that's me stuck, which I think people feel it's set up, so I can't change it. I went from a PDF welcome pack to binning that off to a series of emails, and then that was overwhelming because it was like 5 emails in a row, mixed in with all the other lists that people sign up with. So I just went to one and says, this is what you need to do. Very kind of straightforward. Need to do this, need to do this. Link to my Facebook group where they seen a video of me talking, so they got to kind of know me, and then I pointed them to resources of how they can get set up on MyFitnessPal. So the email was kind of very business-like, very straightforward. And what I liked about it is that it was sent automatically. So if I had, 2 or 3 sign-ups, I wasn't like, yeah, I'll email you later on today because I'm just going to jump into the session. And then the next day they're going like, hi Joe, mate. You said you're going to email me, and you're like, oh, no. I mean, that's a first impression. Whereas if you know, as soon as they sign up, 10 minutes later, the email's sitting there like, nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a more professional kind of email's there. It's got everything they need on it. And if they need you, they can email you. But there's an understanding that that's not going to be straight back. So, yeah, for me, it's kind of a bit more professional, and it saves you worrying and going, oh no, when you forget, which we all do.
Yeah, no, I think again, it's just that sort of peace of mind, especially if we're sort of running around and thinking of clients and booking things in, and again, all those things you can automate to a certain extent as well. But the last thing you want is having, even I still do it now with other things, like having notes everywhere of things that you've got to do and people you've got to call back and stuff like this. So again, anything that can take that stress away from you and leave more time for you to do the programming, the planning, and getting your clients results, you're onto a winner straight away. Like, and again, like you said, it's good for them because it's nothing worse than someone signing up to something. And like you said, back in the olden days when we used to do this, like way before this sort of stuff started, you would make a note in your diary, like, I'll call that person or text them this or send them an email. And like you said, it's only got to take you being busy that one evening, then it's the next day, then it's the next day. And, that client's sitting there twiddling their thumbs, not knowing what to do. They're all excited about your product that they've signed up for. And that's like, it's like, you've only got to mention Amazon, and within about 30 seconds, you can go on Amazon, order something, pay for it, you've got a confirmation email, and odds are, depending on what you order, it could even be here by this evening. So I think having that information like instantly, I think you're missing a trick if you're not doing things like that.
It's the way of the world at the moment. Everything is instant. So if you're kind of, and the problem is, I mean, people are understanding to a degree because they know everybody's busy. And if you're a busy PT, then there's a reason you're busy because you're good at what you do. So people want to give you leeway. But if it's 2 and 3 days later and they've not heard anything, that's a bad review on Facebook. That's a bad, and that's you. You've got to rebuild your reputation for the sake of sending out an email or do you know what I mean? Sounds so simple that could be automated and potentially save you, because you know what Facebook's like. Everything that's on Facebook is the gospel truth, whether it is or not. People just latch on it, eh? So you've got to be so wary of your kind of service delivery to make sure that you're hitting the spot and that some aggrieved potential client isn't bad mouthing you because they didn't receive an email, by the time you stated.
Yeah, no,
So
definitely. So what's your go-to tools, and what's sort of, how, if someone come to you today and said, right, Joe, I want to work with you, my email list getting out of hand, or I want to streamline the way that people are coming, like even from the sign up phase of sign up to my package, what's the sort of the go-to apps and tools that you use, and what's like a very basic overview of how you help people build that out?
okay, so the four main staple things you need is a payment processor. My personal recommendation is Stripe because it's got the cheapest fees, giving you the most money back. And then something on the front end of that looks a bit prettier and is a bit easier to work with in Stripe. So Moonclick is what I use. But as we're talking kind of off air, Jotform and Typeform both link really well with Stripe and are a much kind of prettier front-facing product. Google Sheets is an absolute must. Like if you're not got some sort of Google Sheet somewhere, you're missing out on kind of a lot of power of your automations. And then depending on how you deliver your coaching, whatever app you use, they're all much a muchness. Slightly different features, but they all deliver the same thing. So when I was kind of coaching at my busiest, I was using PT Distinction. For me, I just had the most flexibility, but I've helped people set up on Trainerize, True Coach, My PT Hub. It just changes things how it looks slightly on the back end, not the front end, and then everything that joins that together is Zapier. That is the kind of the glue that holds everything together. So what I would set up for someone is I would set up their payment process around their products, their packages, 12 weeks in one go, split any monthly payments, and that's your front end. So any client wants to sign up, that's what they see. They don't need to know about the rest. And then from there, they would get put into Active Campaign. That's one I missed out. So they go into Active Campaign or MailChimp, whatever. Active Campaign being my preferred choice again, because as we were talking about, it's the functionality as you grow is much more flexible within the software. You don't need additional sign up. You don't need additional to pay more to get access to some of the cool tools. And then any leads all get tracked in a Google Sheet. Leads, number, email that I can then go back to and say, right, did I contact them? They were interested 3 months ago, didn't quite sign up. I'll fire them a text. Hey Carol, how's things? And I can help you with, boom, and you're following up. But if you don't have a record of them signing up and when, you can't do that. And then from there, any sales that sign up go on a Google Sheet as well, and you can actually track your income. So you don't have to do your accounts because it's doing it automatically for you. And then in an Active Campaign, I use a lot of tags. We were saying, you might have a list for this, a list for that, and you've just got like 7, 8 lists, and you're like, what one do I send my email out to? So I have one list, my main newsletter list, that clients, leads, ex-clients, anybody who signs up at any point will go into this main list, and then off that I will use tags to separate groups of people. So clients will get tagged as current client. Anybody who leaves will get tagged as ex-client. Anybody who signs up through my lead generation tool will get lead. So if I want to send a specific message to clients, I send it to the tag current clients. If I want to try and re-engage ex-clients, because I know that they've been with me and they know it works, I might send them an offer, and then I might say to my leads, by the way, I've got this super exclusive just for you, and it gets tagged that way, so that I'm just dealing with one list and I'm not trying to send the same broadcast email to 4 or 5 different lists that I've set up with different lead magnets. That's the basic onboarding that I think every kind of trainer should have in some degree. Softwares will vary, payment processes will vary, but something that from when they sign up, they're automatically put into their email software, but on the back end, you're doing your kind of sales accounts and your lead tracking within that, so you know how much money you've got coming in, who you need to follow up, because if they're interested and they don't buy, there was a reason they're interested. So you want to go back to them because it's going to be easier to kind of bring them back in than go out and try and fetch somebody straight off the street and say, oh, I'll come be a client of mine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like something you just said there, I was listening to something earlier, funny enough, about saying, you know, if people have come to you for an inquiry, you might even be like the 3rd or 4th person they've contacted, but it shows that they're willing to buy because they've taken that first step of making contact.
Yeah.
So if you are one of 4 or 5 people that they've contacted and asked about prices or whatever it may be, it's always, if you're not chasing that up, and I don't mean that in a horrible way, like, oh, Joe, come sign up, don't miss out. But if there's something simple as an email going, oh, you know, thanks for inquiring the other day, any more thoughts on taking on board some sessions, or something like that, that's not too salesy, you know, that's the difference between getting that sale or not, because they might be waiting for that additional contact or to see if you actually give a shit that you've reached out. So
I mean, if you go in and you want to, I mean, if you take one about 65 million PTs in my area, they go round them all, and you're all going to be similar prices because the kind of area and affluence will dictate prices to an extent. And they go, right, well, can you follow up, say, hey, how are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Just go in with a conversation, not even, and none of the other PTs are doing that. They're going to be like, oh, right, who am I going to go to? These ones who don't care about me because I've not given them money straight away. Or this person who's checking in, hi, how's things? You know, you inquired the other day, have you got any more questions? Maybe I didn't cover anything, you know, let me know. And then you re-engage them in the conversation, put their mind at rest, deal with their objections, and then the chance of them signing up, because if re-engage in that conversation, is going to be much higher. If you don't know who's inquired and you don't have their number, or you lose that sheet of paper, or you're in a gym and somebody bins it, do you know what I mean? So for me, that's the kind of what I feel every kind of personal trainer should have in terms of automation to make sure that they're maximizing their ability to make money.
Yeah, definitely. And like going back to something we said before, like if people are sort of looking at this thinking, oh, I've tried automations and I didn't get very well, didn't get very far with it and stuff like that, what sort of advice could you give them to sort of, because they can be as basic as anything, they can be, like we said before we hit record, like they can be super advanced and be all singing or dancing, but where's sort of like a good starting place that someone can, like you said before about sort of a bit of trial and error, but what's the essentials that they should have as like the most basic sort of funnel, as it were, that you've built for someone who's very sort of anti-automation? I'm sure you've had clients like that in the past come to you. What's like the bare minimum that you've built for them that they are able to handle, if that makes sense?
From a kind of ruthless business point of view, making sure you get your money. So having a payment processor that if you are offering a monthly package, so it's £300 a month to get 3 sessions a week, make sure that that money's coming to you and you're not waiting for somebody to transfer it manually. So a payment processor like Moonclerk, like Jotform on Stripe is key to make sure you know that you're getting paid for the service you're delivering. There's going to be circumstances where you say, oh, I'm a wee bit skint this month and you can juggle a few things, but the amount of people that, if sign up for a month and then just ghost you and run away, but you can't get another client in because they've got the slot, and then you're down £300-400 a month. Making sure that that comes in. So that would be something I would automate, that you're getting paid for the work you're doing monthly through something like that drop form type form. That's where I would start. If somebody was so anti-automation, I would say, well, you want to be compensated for doing the job you're doing. You can't help other people if you can't feed yourself and put fuel in your car to get to the gym and look after yourself and keep a roof over your head. So you need to make sure you're getting paid. So that's where I would start. And then from there, I would say, right, when someone signs up, send them an email to acknowledge that they've given you money. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for choosing me. Here's what's going to happen. Let them know what's happening over the next 2 days. Because if I'm parting with £300 a month, I want to know what's happening. So someone just says, look, I'm going to sit down, go through your PARQ, or I need you in to book in for a session, so give me a message. Don't have to be fully automated, just an email saying, I've got your money, now what we need to do to put a plan in place is this, or fill this form in so I can put your plan in place so that they know that you've acknowledged and you're going to work with them moving forward. That is probably where I would say is the bare minimum you need to do. Make sure you're getting paid and make sure you acknowledge and thank someone for basically trusting you to get the results.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's funny, isn't it? Like, obviously we both use automations. Obviously you help people build out automations, but just sitting here saying it, it's like a no-brainer, isn't it? Because like I said, it's like someone pays for your service. Again, you don't even have to take that payment. You can just sort of guide them to a link, or you might have had a phone conversation, give them the link to go here or go to my website and hit buy now, whatever it may be. That starts that process off. They make that payment again by linking, like I use for sign up forms for some of my things, I use Typeform, and on there's a payment link. Once they've hit pay and hit submit at the bottom, using Zapier, as Joe said, that links through to ActiveCampaign. So you'd sign up over to ActiveCampaign. Hi Joe, thanks for signing up. Here's what you need to do next, like Joe just said there. But then, like I said, with personal trainers and coaches, for example, the first step could be like, here's your PARQ, I need you to fill this out. Here's a brief questionnaire. And again, this hasn't got all be in one email. Like I said, like you've been there before with your 5 email sequence, like you said, which you changed. But it could be like, today I get some information from you. The next email the next day is to join the Facebook group or whatever you've got, or download PT Distinction, for example, whatever it may be. But it's just, again, I think so many times, especially sort of going back, I keep calling it the olden days when I used to PT like 20 years ago, but like back then it would be, I'd take your money, thanks a lot. But if your first session isn't till the following Tuesday, there's potentially a whole week where they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs thinking, has he just run off with my money? What am I doing now? Because again, good old fashioned pen and paper for a PARQ and a sit down consultation. But now you can do all of that in that week, from taking payment to physically seeing them in a gym, but they're still engaging with you. So they're building up a rapport with you, and they've joined your Facebook group. They might be interacting with other people. 5 or 6 people might be starting a challenge on the same day. So it's sort of just, like I said, it's that waiting around, isn't it? That
you keep them excited so they don't go elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? You want to keep, it's like, join my Facebook group, I know another session isn't for a week, but you'll get some recipes. So there's nothing to stop you getting started right now. We've got a step challenge going on. It'd be great if you could get involved, meet some of the guys, and just make them feel like they've made the right decision from the get-go. If you ghost them for a week, they're going to be like, all right, what's happening? And then they'll message you and you'll get annoyed because they've messaged you because you're like, oh, the session's not until next week. Like, what you messaging me for them? When I'm busy, whereas that's already happening, so you can just kind of focus on getting the results.
Yeah, and even like I said, if they will have questions, and I'd like to think, depending on how they found you via a website, word of mouth, whatever it may be, but you could even throw into your automation like frequently asked questions, or even call the email like, what happens now? Like something so basic of, right, over this week, I'm going to send you this. Like, here's some questions other people ask when they first join. It's just eliminating anything for them. That starts potentially even before what we're talking about here on like their sort of the buy-in journey of eliminating their fears and sort of the questions that other people have asked in the past. But then again, when they've signed up, they're still going to have those questions. Just because they've brought, it doesn't mean they're still not going to be thinking, I've just given him 500 quid. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
It's sort of, we need to keep that sort of channeling through. And again, what better way than to automate it all? Because if you've got 20, 30, 40 clients coming to you, you don't want to be having the same conversation all the time, because you need that time to actually go and do your job.
Yeah, you kind of get sick of the same conversation, so you become almost like impatient with it. It's the first question that client's asked, but it's the 10th time you've heard it that day. You can be kind of a bit snappy almost, particularly if you've been on the gym floor from 6 in the morning and you're getting to kind of 8, 9 at night, you're tired, and the last thing you want to do is, how do I work my fitness pal? And you're just like, oh. So if you can just say, don't worry, it's all coming in an email, we just want to focus on this for just now, and it's getting taken care of. A rule I kind of set myself is, if I have to answer a question more than 3 or 4 times, it goes into an automation somewhere, because I'm not doing my job of getting that information across somewhere in my pipeline. I've missed it out. So if I have to answer an email of what do I do now, how do I access this, how do I do that, I go, right, once, maybe they've just missed it, twice, okay, 3 times, right, what have I missed, and given them what they need, and then I can add it in. And that's the beauty of automations, that they can grow as your business grows, as more clients come in, as you then, you can then say, here's a resource on using my fitness pal, here's a step counter that I want to use, and just, screen record your phone, put it in your Facebook group, put it on YouTube, send them a link to it. Now we're going to track our steps. I need you to watch this video and get set up. Boom. And it saves you doing the boring stuff like that. You can get them in, focus all. Nobody becomes a PT to do admin work. You want to be on the gym floor, you want to be making a difference, you want to be coaching. But as a PT, the hidden part of that is the business side of things.
Yeah.
Which you're kind of brilliantly kind of bridging the gap with, the kind of people are not getting caught out with PT, but not knowing that there's a business behind that. So that's where automation can come in. It kind of reduces the business and allows you to do what you love doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Funny enough, I put up a post today about sort of great PTs get paid, and then I put a cross through the paid, and then further on in the slide it said great marketers get paid, because like you said there, it's like no one wanted to sort of step into a personal training role with the aim of, like we have done for the past year, sitting behind a laptop. Sort of, if you wanted to do that, you'd be in a completely different industry. But I never wanted a 9 to 5 job. But again, over the past year, my job has literally been sitting behind a desk 9 to 5. But like I said, you don't want to be doing that. But I think the business, the admin, the automations is 10 times more enjoyable, because you're still working on getting people results. So yes, we are flipping admin and business and marketers at the moment, but it's still with that purpose of serving your client and getting them results.
Yeah.
And again, automations and the marketing is just a vessel of getting them on board, making that onboard process like seamless for them, whilst giving them everything and anything they need to succeed.
Yeah, you could be the best PT in the world and make zero money. People don't know about it.
Yeah.
People have got to know what you do. They've got to know the results you get. It's slightly frustrating, but before and after pics are amazing in marketing, even though we know that fitness and exercise has so many more benefits than that.
Yeah.
They're almost hidden, because you can't see more energy in a picture. You can't see somebody feeling better. You can't see more confidence, but you can see someone losing a ton of weight and looking great. So, people need to see what the results you're getting, and then you can tell the story about all of these other benefits that they don't know they need until they start with you. But if they don't know about that, you can't make any money, and you've got to then go into a different industry.
No, definitely.
So, sorry.
Yeah. What obviously we spoke about the automation from like the sort of the buy-in stage, but with regards to attracting that attention, like we just sort of briefly spoke about there, with the sort of social media, the marketing side of things, when do people come into your automation or those that you build for your clients? When's the sort of first touch point, and what does that look like of getting them from a prospect to a paying client?
So probably social media is the first touch point of being aware of a personal trainer, what they do, the market they serve, almost who they are, because there's, do you mean there's people that won't like you, there's people that don't want to work with you, you know. I mean, my face is super friendly, but wee Betty who's 60 and just wants to move better so she doesn't need to have replacement knee doesn't want to come and work with me. I mean, we have nothing in common. I mean, I actively like getting punched in the face. Do you know what I mean? I like kind of.
Well, Betty might like getting punched in the
I mean,
face. You don't know that.
she might want to punch me in the face as a but we're going to have, we're not going to have much in common. She's maybe want to go somewhere where somebody can relate to her and relate to her needs. You know, I want to kind of go, right, let's hit the squat rack, and wee Betty's maybe want to do a bit of walking on the treadmill. So people want to see who you are, what you do, so they can relate to you. And that's the first touch point. Then what you want to do is you want to provide them with something of value, your lead magnet. So you want to get them from the outside of your world to inside it on an email list somewhere for something, because that's their first big decision of, I like what you're offering me, so I'm going to check it out. You know, 5 key steps to fat loss without, you know, what was mine? Eat kebabs, get abs. That was my lead magnet.
Perfect. Nice ring to it.
And it was all about, you know, kind of the big thing at the moment, eating what you want, enjoying it, but still getting the results you want. If your niche is build the muscle, you know, how to pack on 5 pounds of muscle in 90 days. What do they want to do? Give them that away for free, give them value, and then get them into an email list of newsletters, advice, the occasional offer, and they'll get more value from that because you can be more real on an email list because they've bought into you already. You don't need to bring them in. And then from there, from that email list, when the offer comes out, they can come into your paid services, whether that be a group boot camp or a healthy eating seminar you're doing at your gym for a £5 to cover costs, well, whether that's one-to-one PT with you. What do you offer? You can then get them into there, and then they hit the client automations. For me, I'm kind of moving away from an email list, and I'm trying to build a WhatsApp list. They'll still go into active campaign with emails, but I'm trying to really utilize WhatsApp, because I realized very quickly that I'll check my emails maybe 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But get my WhatsApp, because everybody's in a group chat with a pal that sends them really dodgy stuff. So you're checking your WhatsApp for safety concerns regularly. So that's kind of where I'm going, and that's what I've been working on is kind of bringing out automated WhatsApp. So similar to active campaign, they get a welcome message, they get a check-in message, and how that automates via WhatsApp.
Yeah. Have you started trialing that yet, or is that something you're just building out?
I have got a hugely successful PT down in the Wirral, Liverpool way, who's using it to get like email broadcasts out to a group of clients, or WhatsApp broadcasts out to a group of clients. I've currently got it set up for a few things. So if you book a consultation call with me, you get a video of me explaining what to expect in the consultation call. So you get to kind of see my face and get to know me a bit better. And then at key points through the journey, when we complete certain stages, you'll get a kind of a WhatsApp update of saying, you know, your build's at this stage. now that I've done this, I'm going to do this, and I need you to then book in this call so we can go over what I've done for you and stuff. So all that's automated, so that's kind of via WhatsApp.
And can you automate that through ActiveCampaign, or is that something you've got?
Oh, that's through using Google Sheets. So kind of using Google Sheets to almost control WhatsApp. So you type your message into Google Sheets or your sequence of messages, and then you program it on Google Sheets because it's a wee bit nicer to look at than the coding in the back end, and then it will send the WhatsApp messages from your number.
Nice.
It's good that I use WhatsApp Business, so I can very much keep it separate from my personal WhatsApp, because like I say, there's that many group chats that my notifications are muted. So if you're trying to contact me about, oh, this is broke, I need it fixed, it'll get lost in the noise. But if it's separate, I'll be able to pick it up and deal with your kind of emergency if needed.
Yeah, nice. Do you think, like, obviously, when you sort of started saying about that, about the automations, would you still do newsletters, etc., separate? And is WhatsApp more for sort of like the check-in type?
Shorter messages, anything of great detail would go in an email, because you're more conditioned to reading longer emails. Short bursts, like, so mine is, thanks very much for booking a call on the date they booked the call, here's what to expect, and then the video of me chatting through what we're going to chat through. I need you to have a think about repetitive tasks before the call, because I want to be able to help you, and if we're having a chat, then you need to go and do homework before we have a chat again, things like that. So a wee bit of homework before the call, but like proper broadcast emails with newsletters of, here's this huge bit of advice that's going to benefit you, would be an email, because it's to get the point across, to make sure the steps are in place, would be email.
Nice. No, it's good. And obviously, just sort of as I looked down, I read one of my notes that sort of asked you just before, with Zapier, did you say that there's been an update recently where it's not putting fields across from, like, those who do run automations at the moment might have noticed this, but like the field from what were we saying earlier? Is it from Stripe to ActiveCampaign?
Yeah, Stripe deals in like random numbers and letters and codes that Stripe knows what it's talking about. So if you're taking payment directly into Stripe, it's very difficult to pick out the key information you need to transfer it into your email provider, ActiveCampaign. So I would suggest putting something on the front end, the front facing of that. So you use Typeform, I use Moonclerk, they're pretty much the same. Clients or potential clients just put their name, their email address, you can add questions, their phone number, and then their card details. And then you can use that much nicer, prettier format to take the data and put it in the ActiveCampaign and bypass. I think the question specifically asked was, how do I set up somebody in my list from a specific product in Stripe? They couldn't find information in Zapier. So what you'd have to do in that instance is set up a filter step, and you'd have to filter to that specific product code, and it's something like prod_IJKZ. It's like nonsense. So if you don't know what you're looking for, you're never going to find it. Whereas this front end, you can call the form monthly PT 3 sessions per week, and you can find that really easy because you know what you've called it. Whereas Stripe's gibberish.
Yeah, I suppose, like we said before, having like the jot form, etc., whatever you're going to use, those fields will automatically come over into Stripe, and then that will, via Zapier, will ping it over to ActiveCampaign.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
As they fill out their details, it should match up in ActiveCampaign name in name, surname in surname, and so on, shouldn't it? So like I said, it's just maybe the person asked that question previously has not, like, maybe like the buy now button on their website or whatever goes straight to Stripe rather than. Do you think it sort of does affect it though if I hit a buy now button and it takes me off to Typeform? Do you think have you ever seen anything that sort of slows people down or stops people buying because they're almost going around the houses to buy something?
The amount of questions. So I had an application in to work with me to try and, people who filled an application were really interested. Anybody who didn't probably wasn't going to buy anyway. But I limited it to like 4 questions because I know myself, if I'm on my phone and it's my lunch break, the last thing I want to do is fill in a 25 application to get a PT. I'll just go to the next guy who can do, the same. So try and kind of keep the information to the key information you need. So if it's buy-in, you need name, first name, last name, email. That's literally it, all you need. If you want to give them a text message, ask their kind of phone number, and then get their card details and get them to pay. Try and make it as slick for them as possible. Don't overcomplicate it by adding in their goal and stuff. Do that once they've paid you.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's like the whole point of why we're even having this conversation, isn't it? Like, again, the automation, like that links off to the thank you page, email that says, oh, I'm going to send you a series of emails over the next couple of days. That's when you collect that data. Again, I've seen, as I'm sure you have as well, on Facebook groups where people say, oh, this is my sign up form. What does everyone think? And it's like you're scrolling for ages and it's about 30 odd questions. And right at the bottom, it's like, buy now. It's like, fucking hell. Like, I've just filled out this for half an hour. I'm bored.
Yeah, I was trying to sign up to something the other day and I actually binned it off because it was like, click this link to sign up, and it took me to a sales page. Fine, that's normal. But the buy now button is at the bottom of the page, but I had to scroll through 5 upsells. So I don't want your upsells, I just want the product. I just want to buy that. If I wanted to upsell, I'd read on. I just want to buy that. I want to give you my money. And eventually I went, oh, F this. I'm not, I'll do without, because I just don't want that. Like, I want to buy this, and you're making it difficult for me to buy this. So on Dragon's Den, like, I'm out. Like, make it easy, and then anything complex that you need to know, do it once they've paid, because they're invested in it. So they're more likely to do it. They're more likely to give you, what's your goal to lose weight? Like, how much by when? But if you don't want to be asking that because they get bored, get them to sign up. Then you can ask them that because they've bought in, they're invested.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, like I said, it's the buying process should be easy. Like, they've got the information from your website, social media, a phone call, video call, whatever, with you. And yes, you can give them as much information. You can talk for like an hour, whatever it may be. So then the last thing they want is to click a link to buy, to fill out a massive long list of questions that they've probably already had answered. And like you said, having a buy now at the bottom, it should be buy now, and then they do that afterwards. Because even like the other day, like what you just said there, I would have been very, very short and blunt answering all those questions just to get to the buy now button, because I'm very black or white. I'm like, if I want it, I want it. If I don't, I don't. I don't need all the questions. I've already brought. If I'm there to buy, I want the buy now button. If it's not in my face, I'm annoyed. I'm very sort of impatient like that. But like I said, I've recently changed website providers, and the buying process was very simple. Literally click, click, bang, money's gone. Email sequence, automation sequence was, thanks for signing up. Tomorrow I'm going to send you this. The next day was something else. And then in that email was, this is now going to take you 30 minutes because we need all the information that's going to go on your website. But again, that 30 minutes, I couldn't care less. And also I was probably more invested in those questions, in the answers I was given to those questions, because I'd already paid. If it was the other way around, if it was like, what do you want on your website and all this, I would have been so blunt and being like, no, I just want to get to the pay. I want you to take my money. But like I said, because it's the other way around, I was a lot more invested in filling out and taking the time to answer every single question because I've already paid for it. And I think that's like, again, the sort of the sign up process and the par queue and tell me all about your goals. Again, me personally, I'd be like, I can't bother to talk to you, I just want to pay. But when you get it afterwards,
just take my money. And then once you've got my money, I want to see the results. So if you tell me I need to do X, Y, and Z to get the result, then I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because before that, I just want to make sure I'm committed. Like, I like to commit if I'm saying, like, I signed up with my couple of business coaches. I was like, let's jump on a chat. Can you help me? Cool. Like, do you want to sign up? I was like, what? how do I sign up right now? Because if I didn't commit, I would get busy and it would go to the back of my mind, and I'd lose out on, I mean, people increase their prices, so was I going to come back when I remembered or could be bothered and be paying more because I didn't? So I'm there, commit, right, now what do you need me to do? Because I've committed.
Yeah.
If I don't do it, I'm wasting my money because it's on me. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, like, sort of, hopefully people can take away from this, it's like the buying process should be simple. And again, don't forget, you've already got your social media, your website, if you've got one, everything there is given them, because not everyone's going to be like you or me, where they're very much like, right, where's the pay button? I can't bother to read all this rubbish, I just want to pay. Like, I'm very much like that, like I said. And not everyone is like that, but
No.
like, they have got your social media, your website, a phone conversation, but then you don't want to repeat all of that again before they hit that buy now button. They can get the information afterwards, like what we're saying. And I think that's the power of like sort of taking that out of the equation, that they get straight to the point, and then we can follow up and bridge that gap of, like I said earlier, like the potential week of sign up and first session. That's where you bridge the gap. You fill in any sort of gaps in their knowledge, their information, what they need to do, what they need to complete, how they will approach that first session, joining your Facebook group, and so on. But like I said, as Joe said earlier, I think if you jot down all of those questions they have, all those bits that you think you're saying more than 2 or 3 times a day, the questions that come up on a daily basis, the park queues, everything like that you do with every single client needs to be whacked into an automation.
Yeah. For me, it's, again, just going back a point there, like, if you get all this details of a client, their goals and stuff, and you start putting a plan in place that they don't sign up, you wasted your time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, you in this kind of industry, your time is your money. I mean, you need to be training people to be making money. That requires a time commitment from you and them. So don't waste your time on somebody who's not fully committed. So get them to commit, and then, like you said, bridge that gap, get the automations in so that you can then maximise your time on the floor, on calls, and providing value to your clients.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, even sort of just as you said that, it's like those free taster sessions. I know, hands up, I've done them like many moons ago, but then to be fair, I was standing in a gym. I'd never go and do a free taster where I'd have to drive 20 minutes from my house and do a free taster at someone's garden or a park or in their home gym, whatever. I'd do it at the gym, because you'll probably nod and agree to this, and anyone listening, it's to get out of flipping doing gym-based cleaning or anything like that. You're like, oh, do you want a free PT session? To your best mate, and they're like, bugger off. And you're like, no, you want a free PT session? And I think, again, in this day and age, I keep making myself sound really old, don't I? But in this day and age, it's like that automation of the point where they might click something and download your freebie, like we said earlier. That is, in my opinion, like the free trial these days. It's sort of, you don't need me to come and stand there and train you for an hour. Like, you can see me on social media, you can hear me in a video sequence. That's sort of like taking that time away from you as well. So they're still getting to know you. People could be like looking at my course guide and listening to your WhatsApp videos right now while you and me are sitting here. So there's no skin off our nose, and they're getting value. They're seeing previous results that we've got for other clients and other personal trainers in the past, but we're not having to, like we keep saying, like, not repeating the same thing over and over again, are we? So
also allows you downtime. Do you know what I mean? If you want to take time off, you're not like in the back of your mind, you're not thinking, right, I can only take an hour off because I've got these 10 check-in emails. The check-in emails went out. You can literally just chill out. You know the work is getting done. You can take a break. You can walk away for a couple of hours, and then go, right, I'm ready to go back into it. So it allows you almost peace of mind so you don't burn out.
No, definitely. Is there a way of, because I always say again to my guys about automating their check-ins, is there a way of sending on Active Campaign one email again and again and again?
Yes.
Or do you literally have to duplicate the email every single time?
No, you don't. There is a cool workaround. So if you can picture Active Campaign, again, I work with tags, so I would tag the the client. The automation start with client check-in. That's the tag. Like literally it says exactly what it does. That way I can keep track of it much easier. So it'd be tag client check-in. And then I would put a wait step on it for the day that I wanted to be go out. So if I wanted to check in on a Sunday, it would say wait until 6 a.m. Sunday morning. If yours is Monday, put the day and the time as when you want that email sent. Then the next thing I do is I would send the email. Hi Carol, please check in. You know, it's so important. It allows me to give you feedback, blah, blah, blah. And then there is a thing that's called an action step. And the action step is go to, and it will say go to somewhere in automation. So you just link it back to the wait step of Sunday.
There you go.
The email, the next thing they do is the go to step, and it sends them back to the wait of Sunday. And that just goes in a loop every, rather than saying it, you know, it's 12 weeks, so I'm going to do this for 12 weeks, and they stay on for an extra week, and you're like, oh, I've only done 12. That just loops it until you remove the tag.
Right.
And that's where something like Moonclerk comes in, because when their plan ends, you can set it up an active campaign to strip all the tags off, and they just go, but they remain in your list, so you're still getting your emails, so they might come back. Or it might strip the tags off and add the X client tag to them, or whatever you set up. So for me, that's how I kind of set up entry and exit. So I know when they exit from my services, I know where they're going. They're not leaving me, they're just in a different part of my world getting information.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, and I think it's so important to sort of track who's on your mailing list, who's coming into your business, where they've come from in your business and stuff like that. And like you said, something as basic as a Google sheet, Excel sheet, to sort of use as your CRM, as it were, to just sort of say, right, today I spoke to Joe, this is what we spoke about. You know, he said to call him back in 3 weeks' time because he's on holiday. Bang. It's just sort of being, and again, it's like having all those automations in place, free up time to do things like that, to chase leads, to strike up conversations, message people that aren't already on your list, and obviously stand in the gym or in front of a client, coaching them and doing the planning side of things. And like I said, we just spoke about one sort of bit that you can automate, and there's other things like the apps, the sort of client check-ins and stuff like that you can do in more detail and get more sort of from them. But again, it can all feed into your overall automation and technically like your email sort of list, isn't it? That can do so much in this day and age.
Yeah, from an email list and a Google Sheet, you can pretty much run your business. There's no need to be more complex than that. If you have everybody's data on a Google Sheet, you can then put it wherever you want. I've been setting up really fancy things, so a real kind of high ticket coach, I don't like that word, but he charges a lot for a full transformation, body, mind. But he wants to look over the application form, because if you're not a good fit, he's not going to take your money. And then we've got a column at the end of a sheet that if he puts in yes, they get an email saying, well done, you've made it to the next round, please book a call. If he puts in no, he says, look, I don't think I can help you based on your answers because you're not ready to work with me.
Yeah.
But here is this free guide to help you, and I hope that you'll come back and I can help you in the future. And it's based off, he clicks yes or no on a spreadsheet, and that gets sent. So he doesn't have to type the email out, it's just ready to go. Yes, that goes, no, that goes. That's when you get complex, but it saves him kind of reading through it, then typing it. He can just go, yeah, I can help them. Yes, I can't help them. But he still wants to acknowledge that he's got it, he's received it, and, you know, the kind of situation.
Yeah, that's good. And that's the thing, and it can be very complex. And again, I think going back to what we said earlier about it can potentially put personal trainers off looking down that route. But again, as I said before, hit record, my automations and my email sequences are very, very basic. You know, I'm sort of self-taught on it, but they do the job. They sort of, the emails go out at the right time, students get sent the right books, you know, that's all I'm worried about. So it can be all singing, all dancing, as you just explained there, but it can be quite sort of basic and generic and absolutely give them a perfect sequence and the perfect onboarding or whatever it may be that's you know, good enough for them and for you to carry on running your business. So no, I think automation is absolutely amazing, and cheers for sharing some insight into them.
No, not a problem. If any of you guys do have questions, I'm happy to kind of answer them. What I like to do though is because I like to send me videos over. So if they do have any questions in the back of this, if you fire them over, I'll try and film kind of a couple of 2-3 minute videos showing them how to do what they're asking. Because it's sometimes easier. If I'm like, yeah, just check out product code IW, and they're like, what is the idiot talking about? So it's easier if they get on screen, and I'll do a couple of screen shares. So happy can I sort that out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, if anyone puts any questions below this, I'll just fire them over to Joe, and then yeah, can do some videos as a bit of a follow-up. That'll be absolutely great. Yeah, cool. Right, Joe, cheers for your time. Thanks again for moving the time, because I knocked you about on that. But yeah, appreciate that. And thanks for your time. And like I said, I'll put those links below. Anyone wants to get in contact with Joe, again, I'll put the links in the comments underneath. And yeah, again, cheers up, mate. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much for having me, mate.
Cheers, mate.